Shalom, shalom, family, and welcome back. This is Brother Maurice. So much has taken place here in the United States to the point that people don't understand how controlled we are. We believe we have free agency, but we don't understand free agency means to choose freely and intelligently. And there have been so many secret combinations that have taken place with this country to control us that the people can't see it. And to them, everything is completely normal. But the thing is, these secret combinations started long ago. And a level of control started long ago. And so we're going to continue, and this is going to be Rise of the Final Beast and its secret combinations. It's important to know what happened, to understand where we are today. So we're going to begin, family, with the sealed portion, chapter 33, starting with verse number 8. And it says, "And it came to pass that the Roman Empire began to grow exceedingly, and their empire and their entire form of government was established and run by those who were influenced by Satan. And their politicians, as they were known among the people, were of the rich class, just like today, family. Therefore, the poor did not receive the representation that they had been promised. And the rich among them were known as the patricians, or the fathers of the state. And it were these who inspired the people to fight against the Etruscans, and win their freedom. Now, these patricians did not care for the plebeians and their plight. Yea, the only reason why these patricians cared about the plebeians was because the plebeians performed all the labor and paid the tax of their labors unto them. It's just like today. Just like today, family. Everything is off. Verse number 30. And if it so be that there were no plebeians, no poor people, then the patricians would have to work for their own sustenance by the sweat of their own brow, which they were not accustomed to doing. And these rich became the leaders of the people and influenced the people according to their own selfish desires. For the government among them was set up and presented to all the people as a fair representation of all the people." We see the same thing here, family. Verse 32. "And they set up their councils and their senates, which groups maintained the order and established the laws for all the people. Nevertheless, only a patrician could become a consul or serve in the Senate. And these allowed the plebeians to set up their own assemblies among them. But these politicians allowed that they might pretend to give unto the poor the representation that they had promised unto them. Yet, in order for the poor to have representation with power and authority, they were forced to choose one from among the rich class to represent them. And it came to pass that with this form of government, the rich became exceedingly rich and the poor became even poorer, having a tax placed upon them that supported their government. And the poor were told that without a strong government, which comprised not only of the governing councils of politicians to establish the order of law among them, but also comprised of a strong military, presence in the land. Yea, without this strong government, invaders would come into the land and take away their land and their families. And in this way, the leaders of the people used fear and ensured that the people would support them in their laziness and also in their lust for riches and power. And in this promise, the Roman government had many examples to show unto the people the strength of their military and the protection of their lands. For there were many invaders that came into the land. Okay, so one thing, family, about those that made up the military, it was actually the plebeians that made up the military. It was the poor people. The rich did not fight in any of these wars. Verse 36. And it came to pass that a strong nation came into their land and burned Rome to the ground. And this bred great fear into the hearts of the people, and they became disconcerted with the leaders for that which they had been promised, even that for which they had paid such a high tax to avoid. But before the people could rise up against their leaders and demand a reform for that which they had given of their hard labor, the leaders of the people made a contract with those who had invaded them. And this contract involved the payment of a tribute to them if they would withdraw out of their lands. Now they want to pay the leaders of the invaders. And the rich paid this tribute out of the tax that they had placed upon the poor. But the poor did not know of the payment of this tribute, for the contract was made between their rich leaders and the rulers of the invading armies. And when the invaders had departed out of the land, the politicians convinced the people that because of their leadership, or in other words, because of their great skill in their politics, they had brought peace and safety again to the land. And because of their flatteries and their lies, the people once again began to believe in their leaders and support them. And it came to pass that there arose contention among the leaders of the early Roman people. And the land was divided by the powers that were in control at that time. But after a few years of this discord, the powerful Roman military took control of the whole land and unified the people under one rule. And the leaders became exceedingly wise in their positions of authority, and in their dealings with the other rulers of the nations of the earth that did not belong to the Roman Empire. But their wisdom was not given unto them by the Holy Spirit, but was given unto them by Satan, who had promised in the beginning to use the treasures of the earth to possess the hearts and souls of the children of men. And through the Roman Empire, he began to see exceeding success in his desires. Verse 42. And it came to pass that a large part of the success of the Roman government came because of the training and dedication of the Roman military. Now, these soldiers were the plebeian class and were easily manipulated and controlled by their leaders. And when the sons of the plebeians heard the words of the politicians, they began to become exceedingly prideful in their hearts because of these words. And they were convinced that the Roman nation was the greatest nation upon the earth, and that it must be protected at all cost. Verse 44. And when their politicians had a desire to conquer another people, and usually this desire was based upon what the other nation could provide for them to increase their power and their riches, then these politicians would devise some secret plan through their secret combinations to make the citizens of the nation believe that they must stand up to this other nation, or they would lose their freedoms and their rights, and also their pretended representation in the government. Just like today. Verse 45. And the people were easily deceived by their leaders, because the Spirit of God was not with them. And the soldiers and their families were convinced that their sons were fighting for the greatness of their nation, and that if they would die in battle, then they died for their nation. And thus, in their death, they would become a hero. And now again, this was the plan of Lucifer from the beginning. For if a man could be convinced that he was dying a hero for the cause of freedom, then in actuality, he was dying to increase, when in actuality, he was dying to increase the land holdings and the riches of his leaders. Then Satan could use this man to do anything that would further the realization of his plan. Verse 47. And the leaders were expert at rallying the citizens in their nation to war. And they would speak to them of patriotism, which was loyalty to the patricians, who were the rich. And the people were deceived considerably, even so much that the Roman military soon became the most powerful military the world had yet to know at that time. But there began to be some among the poor who could see beyond the deceptions and intentions of the rich leaders. And as these spoke out, they were quickly destroyed by the workings of the secret combinations that were among them. And the soldiers would make solemn pacts according to the outline taught unto them in their training. And these pacts were created from the workings of these secret combinations. And these soldiers would carry out the orders given to them by their leaders, even if the orders put their own life or the life of their family and friends in danger. And a soldier received his wages accordingly. And because of these wages, more devotion and dedication was given to the leaders who gave them the wage that they received. And because of the devotion and dedication of soldiers, the politicians became exceedingly powerful and used this power to crush anyone who spoke against them. And the leaders of the people became wise in their dealings with the people that they conquered, for they would allow the people to live according to their own traditions and customs as long as they paid a tribute or a tax to the government that would protect them within their own borders. Same thing, family. They did the same thing with the migrants when they came here, and they were working and paying taxes. And these people who were conquered did pay the tax as was required of them, because they were afraid of the armies of the Romans who had conquered them. And in this manner, most of the world became subjected to the Romans and their government. And it was because of this form of government that the children of Abraham, or the Jews, were able to once again enter into the land of Canaan and establish the church of God as it had been given unto them by their fathers. For it came to pass that the Romans destroyed all other great nations, even the Babylonians and the Assyrians, and all those who had held their own power upon the earth. And now we can see that Satan does not back up those who serve him in the time of their need. For if he can find another nation which is more powerful, even one that he can deceive and bind with his chains, even one that will serve his purpose more efficiently, then he will choose the strong one over the weak to accomplish his purposes. This is something else, family. Verse number 56. Now, having the Jews return again to Jerusalem as part of the plan of Lucifer, for he knew that he could keep the Jews isolated under the power of the Roman government, which he had established, then he could control the church and its leaders. And if the prophets of God were to once more come in among the people, then they would also be subjected to the authority of the Roman government, which he controlled. And thus is the plan of Lucifer, to control the temporal and the spiritual governments of the children of men. And because Satan enticeth the children of men with the lust of the flesh, then the only way he can control them is by the flesh. And for this reason, he hath set up the great armies and navies and means of force throughout the earth. For it is only by fear that the leaders of the people maintain their control over the children of men. Verse 59. And without the fear of the sword, they would have no power. And because of the sword, the leaders are able to control the people and subject them to the laws that protect their riches and their glory, which riches and glory they receive from the people. Verse 60. But the people are also under the influence of Satan, even the very poor among them. For the poor envy their leaders and lust after the things that their leaders possess, even the things that these poor covet for themselves. And this envy of their leaders causeth them to give unto their leaders a respect and honor that they do not deserve. For all men who are not of God, yea, even all those who do not have the name of the Lamb in their foreheads, lust after glory and honor and the riches of the earth. And because they lust after these things, they give honor and respect unto their leaders, who have the things which they desire. And this honor and respect that the people give unto their leaders alloweth their leaders to control them and subject them under their laws, which are set up to benefit the rich. And it came to pass that there were very few among the Romans. Nope, let me read that again. And it came to pass that there were very few among the Romans who lived the gospel of Christ. And they obeyed the commandments of the Father. Let's read that again. And it came to pass that there were very few among the Romans who lived the gospel of Christ and obeyed the commandments of the Father. And the Lord had withdrawn his spirit, from among them in order to allow the plan of Lucifer to be given the chance that Lucifer desired. Nevertheless, the Lord knew that he could not allow Satan to give the children of men many of the powers and the understanding that would be given unto them in the latter days. Like right now, Satan is running with all of his power. And even without these things that Satan was forbidden to give unto them, the Roman Empire became exceedingly powerful and prosperous. But this prosperity was limited only to the upper classes of the people. But this prosperity was limited only to the upper classes of people. And the gap between those who were rich and those who were poor grew exceedingly. And that is what we are starting to see happen here in the United States. We are starting to watch the gap grow. So we see a lot of poor and a few rich, and we are watching the middle class dwindle. Verse 65. And at the height of the power and glory of the Roman Empire, the Holy Spirit had ceased to communicate with the children of men. Nevertheless, it was still in the period of the times, as was spoken of by John and Daniel, in that the Spirit and authority of God was not entirely taken from off of the earth. For Lehi had departed out of Jerusalem before the rise of the Roman Empire, and he took with him the authority of God, and the Spirit was also with my fathers, even as it is with me at this time. And the beginning of the period of the times began just before the time of Lehi, and it shall end shortly after my time. But before the Spirit of God is taken off the earth for the second time, another great prophet shall rise up after my time, and before the time of the two prophets of the latter days. So now, family, we see a lot of things that are taking place with the Roman Empire. And we have to understand that we're actually mimicking now the Roman Empire. We're mimicking them. We're doing the same exact things that the Roman Empire done. The same thing with the laws. This is something else. Now, let's continue. Let's jump down to verse number 71. And it is this great event that all the children of God have looked forward to since the beginning. And it is this event that shall mark the meridian of all time upon the earth, as well as the meridian of the times of which I've spoken. And with exceeding anticipation, all of the holy prophets that have been and are the holy prophets that shall be upon the earth shall look forth to the day of the arrival of the Savior of the world, even the Son of God, to come forth into mortality. And those in the spirit world shall witness all things pertaining to his life and his mission. And these things were shown unto the brother Jared, of which he rejoiced exceeding for the opportunity to see these things before they occurred, yet mourned even more exceedingly because of the way that the Son of God, even the perfect example of the Father in the flesh, shall be treated by the children of men. So we see during the times of the Romans, we see that Christ was to be born during that time frame. Now, let's jump to the sealed portion, chapter 72. And let's start at verse number 52. And it says, Behold, the words of John are prophecy in twofold. Let me read that again. The words of John are a prophecy in twofold. Or in other words, they are prophetic regarding the great Roman Empire that rose up during the days of John and the great nation of the United States that ye have in the latter days. For their histories are the same, and their powers and influence are the same throughout the earth. And John was commanded to speak to you symbolically of one, that ye might apply the meaning of his words unto the other. And I testify unto you that the words of John shall be fulfilled, which he hath written concerning these great nations, which each is the seat of the beast in its own time. And when these shall be upon the earth, their power shall be given unto them during the time that the Father hath commanded that his gospel be given to the world, both by his own mouth, and which is the mouth of his Holy Spirit, and also by the mouth of his holy prophets, who are called after the order of his Son. And the Roman Empire shall rise up and shall be completely destroyed during the dispensation of the time known in the prophecies of the holy prophets as the times. Verse 57. And the United States shall rise out of obscurity and have its power and dominion, and shall eventually be destroyed during a dispensation of time known as the half of time. And so shall all the nations of the earth be destroyed before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Let's go to the sealed portion, chapter 76. We're getting some understanding. We're watching the different things that are taking place at the seat of the beast of that time during the times, and we understand the same thing we expect to see during the times of the half a time. The sealed portion, chapter 76, verse number 12. And during this medieval time, Satan shall cause to be developed many great cities in all the nations of the earth that shall flourish and prosper in the temporal blessings that he hath promised those who follow his plan. And the people of the earth shall begin to fall further away from their dependence on the natural order of things which God hath ordained for them. And they shall depend upon the things that Satan hath offered them in his plan. Do you see that? Let me read this again. And the people of the earth shall begin to fall away further from their dependence on the natural order of things which God hath ordained. What are some of the natural order? The natural order, we're looking at the Irkadeshi. The people no longer know who these Irkadeshi or the Holy Watchers are. And they no longer depend on them. We know the Father also, through the Irkadeshi, provide us the fruits of the field. These are the Irkadeshi. And that part of our substance is actually free. The Irkadeshi provide this to us for free under the Father's plan. But under Lucifer's plan, you have to make money in order to purchase the free things that the Father gave unto us. And the people of the earth shall begin to fall further away from the dependence on the natural order of things which God hath ordained for them. And they shall depend upon the things that Satan hath offered them in his plan. Now, you actually have to spend your time to acquire money to purchase the free things that the Father gave. You also have to spend your time to receive money to purchase all the fake food that Satan has made for the people. So much has been changed, and the people no longer depend on the Holy Watchers, or shall I say, the Irkadeshi. We are fully now immersed in Satan's plan, and people are trying to escape this plan, and it is so hard because we understand now that the money is the mark of the beast, and you need this money in order to survive. Verse number 15. And the rich shall begin to depend upon their money, which is their gold and their silver and the precious gems. And this money shall begin to be the most prized possession of all the people of the earth. For with gold and silver and precious gems, the people shall trade for that which their hearts desire. And the poor shall become many because of the wants and the needs of the few who are rich and who control the wealth and the money and the prices which are paid for the things of the earth. Yea, there shall be many poor because of their inability to have money and purchase that which they create with their hands for the rich. Behold, the poor shall work all the days of their lives, providing the rich with the things that they need to live in easiness and leisure. And when the poor, through their hard labor, produce a thing, then the rich shall place a price on it, which is already predetermined. Let me read that again. And when the poor, through their hard labor, produce a thing, then the rich shall place a price on it, which is already predetermined by them, so that they might receive some sort of gain from it. And during the medieval times, there were those who did not want to produce through their labors that which would support the rich in their luxury. And these would make an attempt to live in all things according to the laws of nature, taking from the earth only that which they needed to sustain their lives and the lives of their children. So the poor people didn't want to deal with this. So they wanted to try to break free from the system. And they wanted to attempt to live their life according to the laws of nature. They wanted to live where they're away from the system, just like we see today. They wanted to be able to get a piece of land and till it and grow their own food, just like what we see today. But you have different places that have all these rules in place to make it hard for them. You must have this. You must have that. You must meet this requirement. You must pay a tax of this. But the people just wanted to get away. Verse number 22. Well, let me read 21 again. And during the medieval times, there were those who did not want to produce through their labors that which would support the rich in their luxury. And these would make an attempt to live in all things according to the laws of nature, taking from the earth only that which they needed to sustain their lives and the lives of their children. Verse 22. And these wanted nothing to do with the system of economy of the beasts, which system was based on the money that the rich invented and controlled. Nevertheless, the rich are powerful and have their secret combinations and develop a way whereby all the people would be forced to produce that which they need for their own comfort. Behold, first, there were few landowners who were not rich, and the rich would make contracts with the poor, giving unto the poor a portion of their land as a grant, which the stipulation that in payment for the land, a part of that which the poor produced would be given unto the rich who owned the land as a rent. And then the king would demand of the poor a portion of that which they produced as a tax, which was to be used according to the pretenses of the king, to defend the land of the poor against their enemies, as I have explained it unto you. Same thing today. You think you're going to go someplace and you're going to buy a piece of land, but now they have it where that land is going to be taxed, which means it's just like you're still paying rent on it, because you're going to pay that tax on that land to the day you die, or they're going to take it away. Nothing new, family, is under the sun. Verse number 26. And if the poor did not produce that which was wanted by the rich or by the king, in order that they might pay their taxes, then they would be forced to exchange that which they produced for the money of the rich, which could then be traded for anything upon which the rich had already placed a predetermined value. And since the rich set the value for all things, and since they also demand of the poor those things which they want to satisfy their lust and their easiness of living without working by the sweat of their own brow, the poor are forced into submission to the will of the rich, even for their very existence. Verse 28. And if a man refuseth to pay his taxes or refuse to provide for the rich those things that are demanded of him, then the rich would pay money to others who would come and take the man and cast him into prison or kill him. And in this manner the rich fix the laws of the land, which laws are established and enforced by the means of the secret combinations among them. Now, I have already given unto you in this record an explanation of these secret combinations, which were established in the beginning to protect one group of people and bring them gain without the need to work by the sweat of their own brow, thereby suffering the anguish of physical labor to bring them their riches. And it suffices me to say that any government, any religion, any group, any organization that doeth anything in secret, or when it withholdeth the true nature of its works from the rest of the people, so that they are not discovered, then it is a secret combination. And in the latter days, these secret combinations shall abound in wickedness, for they shall exist in many forms upon the earth. And many, if not all, of the governments and religions and practices of business that are among you in the latter days belong to these secret combinations, which are set up so that it is not known among the people about the general operations of these combinations, or the means that each of them useth to obtain the end of its desires, which end is profit and gain and power and control over the people. Verse number 33. And in a nation that is the seat of the beast in the latter days, talking about our nation, these secret combinations shall be rampant. For your government shall act in secret meetings that are not held before the public, that they might hide the way in which they control and manipulate the hearts and minds of the people. And the religions of the world shall not disclose the riches that they possess, which are generated from the tithing of the people that is given unto their churches by the people who believe that they are donating their money to God for his purposes. Verse 35. And the leaders of the religions shall also separate and exclude themselves from the people, and hold their meetings in secret, that the people may not discover their works. And the businesses that are set up among you to get gain, are they not also secret combinations? Doeth he who selleth you a thing disclose unto you how much profit he is making from that which he selleth unto you? Doth he not sell unto you a thing for a price that ye are willing to pay unto him? And in that day ye shall see that your money shall be valued according to the desires and whims of the rich, who are your leaders. For I have seen your time, and see that it is by these secret combinations that it is determined what value is placed upon the money of the nations among you. And in considering all these things in secret, the rich do not take into account those who produce the things that are sold and purchased by this money, nor do they consider how the decisions of their secret combinations might affect the lives of the poor. But when a determination is made on the value of the money of a nation, it is made on how the value of this money shall affect the rich and the powerful. And ye have witnessed these secret combinations among you. And your laws, which are established by the rich, are established to protect these secret combinations and assure their prosperity. Behold, how can it be that a man who hath a certain amount of money with which he can buy a certain quantity of bread one day shall wake up the next morning and find that the money which he hath from yesterday cannot buy on this new day that which it could buy yesterday? And how can he allow the rich who do not work by the sweat of their brow to change the value of the money that the poor receiveth for their labors? And it shall be that a poor man shall work one day for a wage that he thinketh shall provide that for which he requireth for the needs of his family. And in going to bed, he is satisfied by the labors of his own hands, knowing that his family shall eat on the morrow. And then in the morning, when that man ariseth to labor again, he findeth that for which he labored yesterday does not provide for the needs of his family as he had supposed. Yet, when a man reporteth to his employer that he is not given an increase in the wage of the day for that which he lost in value of yesterday. Let me read that again. Think about what was going on in Philadelphia a few weeks back. You had the sanitation workers. They were striking because the only thing they wanted was a livable wage. And they would not give them a livable wage. Verse 46 again. Yet when that man reporteth to his employer, he is not given an increase in the wage of the day for which he lost the value of yesterday, which would be a just compensation because of the decision of the rich to value the money that he used to provide for the needs of his family. And this causeth the man to be angry. There were a lot of people in Philadelphia that were truly angry about what happened. A strike took place. And during this strike, the union was trying to work a deal. And the union settled for a very weak deal. And the employees were mad, but they had to go back to work. Verse 47. And this causeth the man to be angry, and curse the secret combinations that he upholdeth with his gratitude and patriotism, which is given to the nation that he hath been convinced protecteth his life and the lives of his children. And when the people began to rebel against these secret combinations, their governments began to seek for that which will turn the hearts of the people again unto them. And this they do in many instances by war and through national pride, which is instilled in the people by the flattering words of the rich. And so, my beloved brothers and sisters, if ye know of a government or a religion or a practice of business that does not disclose unto you all things, yea, if they do not let you be in attendance at all their meetings, that ye might know their agenda and the purpose of their meetings, then ye shall know of a surety that these are the secret combinations that Satan hath set up in his kingdom to give glory to those who follow him and bring under his power those who think that they are not following him. Thus shall Satan rule over the earth during the time that the Father hath allotted him to provide his plan unto us. And during this time, the cities of the earth shall grow as the children of men begin to increase, in a great number. And because of their cities and their increase in number, great famines and pestilence shall come upon them and destroy many of them. Aren't they trying to tell the people that this world is overpopulated? Isn't that what they're telling the people? They're saying the world's overpopulated. It's too many people here. And then what did they have? We had that one disease that took place in 2020. And through all these secret combinations, a lot of people were removed from this planet. That's what they did, family. All this being done by secret combinations. But the people don't know. They trust the governments. They believe that this is a nation under God. What they don't know is this nation is under God, the God Satan. He's the one that is running everything here with all of these secret combinations by using the rich. Let's continue. Verse number 51. And during this time, the cities of the earth shall grow as the children of men begin to increase in great number. And because of their cities and their increase in number, great famines and pestilence shall come upon them and destroy many of them. But the rich shall not be destroyed so easily by these things, for they shall keep themselves isolated, away from the majority of the people, in the splendor of their fine things which they have taken from the people, by the greatness of the riches and money that they possess. 53. Now, all of these things that I saw in the record of the brother of Jared, and of which I am now giving my abridgment, shall be in fulfillment of the words of John, which he wrote, saying, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And now, do you see how the number of the beast is money? Do you not see how all are forced to have money and be engaged in the economy that have been set up by Satan or be killed? And most importantly, do you see how ye all have the mark of the beast in your right hands? And those who are not elect, do you see that they also have the mark in their foreheads? Yea, even the whole earth is under the power of Satan, and shall continue to be until the time of the Lord cometh in the glory of the Father. So we're all working with the mark of the beast in our right hand. So now it's determined on you how you are going to use that mark. Are you going to use it good by trying to help people that you can? Or is your sole focus going to be on me, my, and your riches? Well, family, I pray you're able to receive this message. And when we come back, we'll come back with the next part, because it's important that we understand the rise of the final beast, because the final beast has been here. The beast is almost at the end of its time, but now it's time that the people begin to see the beast. Well, family, I love you and look forward to seeing you on the next lesson. Shalom, shalom, family.